7:20 here, Big 550 KTRS, and it is Veterans Day weekend. And in honor of that, we're lucky to talk to our next guest, retired Colonel Cole Kingseed, former New York Times bestselling author of Beyond Band of Brothers. He's out with a brand new book called Conversations with Major Dick Winters. Colonel, welcome to Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
Oh, thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
How much of Major Dick Winters did you know before Band of Brothers came out?
I got to know Dick Winters beginning back in 1998, so it was really about 3 or 4 years before the miniseries came out, but we established a relationship that we just continued, and then he asked me to help him write his memoirs. That was really about the Dick Winters, the soldier. Conversations with Major Dick Winters is really the story of Dick Winters, the man, and what happened after the war.
He became famous because of the book and because of the movie, and he was a stoic. He was portrayed as stoic. He was portrayed as someone who was unflinching in unbelievable critical situations. What was he like? What was he like off the field, if you will?
Well, you know, it's very interesting. Dick Winters was a very complicated man. He was very difficult to know. But once he allowed you into his inner circle, you could really discern the essence of a man. As I take a look at the miniseries, Dick Winters was exactly the way that he was portrayed, but even more than that.
Go on, explain. I mean, was he? Did he drink? Because in the miniseries he didn't drink, and he wasn't a Mormon, but they alleged that he was a Mormon.
His parents were Mennonite. Dick Winters did not drink. Dick Winters, I guess, is the best way to describe him. He was, as I look back upon him, is really a man's man, extraordinarily respectful of women. Very selfless servant, and he's not really a bone of egotism in his being. And I think that's the way that Damian Lewis portrayed him.
Yeah. Where did he get his military smarts from? Was he classically trained, or was he just sort of innate that way?
You know what? I think it's really kind of a combination of that. The answer to your question, how did he become so militarily competent? He studied. He studied. He reread the manuals over and over again. And what he told me one time, he had read them so many times that he literally would be dreaming about how to handle specific situations. But he was a continuous learner, and that's really the key to his success in the military realm.
He died not too long ago, right?
He passed away about 4 years ago, January 2nd in 2011.
And did he have a large family?
He had a wife, and he had 2 children. His wife passed away a year afterwards, but he has a son and a daughter and a grandson.
The book is called Conversations with Major Dick Winters, Life Lessons from the Commander of the Band of Brothers. Retired Colonel Cole Kingseed is our guest for a couple of more minutes. What was it about what did you learn along the way sitting down and talking with him after he came back from World War II?
I guess it was really like a primer on leadership and character. What Dick told me so much, and I've studied leadership and courage, character throughout my life, and in the 30 years in the Army. Dick taught me more about leadership, on how to handle situations, probably than anything that I could ever discern from even my military experience or my readings.
Yeah, he wanted to stay in the military, or did he want to get out?
You know what? He flirted with going to the Pacific Theater, but he never really intended to make it a career. He was very anxious, like most soldiers, when the war was over, to get back and then go back to the civilian world and start off their lives again.
What's amazing to me about the World War II generation is that they went over, they beat back the Germans, and they saw and they did extraordinary things. And when it was over, they put their guns down, they came back, and they just picked up a briefcase and went to work.
Well, you know what they did? They basically remade America. And that's really what the story of Conversations with Major Dick Winters is about. It's a story of leadership, fame, friendship, and particularly his personal struggle to find the peace that he promised himself if he survived World War II.
Why was it so hard to find the peace?
Well, you know what? The answer that Dick says, every soldier, Marine, airman, sailor, who goes to war, all yearns for peace and quiet. Quiet is very easy to obtain. Peace, however, has to come from within, and that's what the rest of Dick's life was. And I don't think Dick Winters achieved that peace until he began talking about his experiences and sharing his memoirs and his thoughts on leadership to a current generation.
It's really interesting. So you're saying he was sort of burdened with this until he was able to tell his own story.
I think every soldier who goes to war always brings part of the war back with them, but that's what it was. When we did the manuscript on his memoirs, when we submitted it to the publisher, I told Dick, I said, "It is over. You will see it 9 months from today." He literally leaned back on his chair, closed his eyes, deep sigh, and said, "It's finished." And that was the last time that we discussed World War II.
Huh. So in a sense, the Band of Brothers, the book from Stephen Ambrose, the movie, the miniseries, I mean, it made him a national figure, and it brought publicity to him that he never would have had otherwise. And you're saying in the end, ultimately, that was somewhat cathartic for him.
It was very much so. But here's the thing about Dick Winters. The Band of Brothers in the series, the miniseries, the books, and everything was not about Dick Winters, and he would be first to admit it. He said it was the story of Easy Company. Now, and what he said was this: Easy Company, the company that he commanded, made me. It brought out the very best of me as a leader and as well as a man. As I reflect upon my life since the war, he told me, I can honestly say that it has been a lifetime search for men like those that I knew in Easy Company. So it was always about the men, not about himself.
So does the time make the men, or the men make the time?
You know what? I think it's always, it's really a combination of that. It's interesting because the Conversations addresses a very similar question: Are leaders born, or are they made? And I think the story of Dick Winters is, at least in the democracy, they have to be cultivated. And that's the story of Dick. And that goes back to your original question about being a lifelong learner in preparation for the task that he had to accomplish.
Our guest is Colonel Cole Kingseed. He is New York Times bestselling co-author of the book Beyond Band of Brothers. His new book is Conversations with Major Dick Winters, Life Lessons from the Commander of the Band of Brothers. Colonel, thank you very much for your work. Thank you for your time. Good luck with the book. Happy Veterans Day, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
You got it. The book is Conversations with Major Dick Winters. First of all, you should go out and get the book. Second of all, if you haven't seen Band of Brothers, shame on every single one of you. It is extraordinary.
Well, then shame on me. No, I haven't. I didn't have HBO.
It's worth it to go and buy it, to get it, to download it, to stream it, whatever you have to do. It is. It's the story of the Easy Company from boot camp all the way through the end of the war, and it's a 9-part miniseries. And it's just a riveting look at a company and what they have to do to survive and what they have to go through. And
I've obviously heard of it, but I just haven't had the opportunity to see it.
It's extraordinary. I mean, just extraordinary. There's not a clunker in the bunch. I think there's 9 episodes. And it is just heartbreaking and uplifting and heartbreaking all at the same time. Anyway, so go see Band of Brothers. Do that this Veterans Day weekend. And then the book is Conversations with Major Dick Winters. 7:30 here, Big 550 KTRS.
Hi, this is Jeff Lapidus, the Retirement Coach. If you want to make smart choices about your retirement planning, listen to my show, Straight Talk on Retirement, this Saturday at 10 a.m. here on the Big 550 KTRS.